Look at how thin this thing is. What's going on, everyone? Back with another episode of Stuff and Things, and today we're taking a look at another electric skateboard. You already know how this goes, so let's just get right into it. The board in question today is the Teamgee electric skateboard. This thing is definitely very different from any other board that I've taken a look at in the past, mainly because of the design. This is an electric skateboard, and somehow they managed to design it to be this thin. If you follow me on Instagram, you may have seen me unbox this on a live stream about a week ago, and when I pulled it out of the box, I was just kind of taken back looking at it for a couple minutes like, where do they cram all of the electronics into this thing? On the underside here, you have a little bit of a heatsink type of area with the power button and the charge port, but other than that, somehow they managed to get everything inside this slim frame. Looking at it from the top down and even looking at it from the side, I really wouldn't know that it is an electric skateboard. While the board is made in China, it does use different parts from a lot of the other Chinese boards that I've reviewed in the past, so hopefully this will be a little bit different than all the other ones. Right off the bat, the deck shape is definitely different. It's a pintail design. I believe it's 37 inches long. It's an 11 ply deck, and I'm assuming a lot of those plies are kind of routed out inside of here to house all the batteries. Another cool thing that makes this board different is that it is actually available in their store, but also on Amazon. A lot of people like to complain about how long it takes to get these electric boards, especially the ones that come from China. So this board, once it was sent out to me, got here in 2 days Amazon Prime. I'm actually gonna pull up the Amazon page here so I can give you a rundown of the specs. The Teamgee electric skateboard, great last mile vehicle solution, 37-inch pintail longboard, 11 ply maple deck, 10 miles of range at 18.5 miles per hour. And then in the title of their product page on Amazon, they have a vlogger's best companion. The board is $529 Amazon Prime, so like I said, this board will ship to you and it will get to you quick. It supposedly can climb hills of 15 to 20 degrees. It weighs about 14 pounds, which is, I don't know, it feels a little lighter than that, but compared to some other boards, I guess it's just kind of the carryability of it. Carryability, is that even a word? It just feels well balanced because it doesn't have batteries like hanging off the bottom of it, so it's obviously gonna be heavier than a regular pintail skateboard, but it feels pretty good. They crammed a 3.5 amp hour 36 volt lithium ion batteries in here somewhere. I'm assuming they're like the flat cell type. It has a charge time of about 2 hours, dual hub motors in the back here, as you can see. They're all blacked out, giving it that stealthy feeling, so if these motors are quiet, this board is going to probably be the stealthiest one that I have because you really can't tell it's electric. And of course it comes with a charger, controller, tail light, T-tool, everything that all of these boards typically come with nowadays. I haven't had a chance to charge this thing up yet, so I'm gonna throw it on the charger and then I will talk to you guys once I get outside. All right, we're out here, first time stepping foot on this board. I'm really not sure what to expect out of something like this because I don't ride pintail boards. Since all of the batteries and electronics are placed inside of here, I also don't want to bounce on it too much either. It's pretty stiff, has a little bit of flex. And then boards like this inherently have really loose trucks because you're not gonna get wheel bite since the deck is so narrow. It is fairly long, so the turning radius isn't gonna be the greatest, but we'll see how it goes. Board is now on. The controller is pretty unique. I haven't shown you guys this yet, but I will show you once I get to the first checkpoint. Just press and hold it to turn it on. There's a low and a high mode on the side. I'm gonna start on low. Since it only does 18.5 miles per hour, I'm assuming low is gonna be very slow, so I'll bump up to high quickly after that. So the slow mode is very slow, like I had thought. The turning radius seems to be about like two car widths. If I'm on the far right side of the street, whoa, brakes are strong. I can do one of these, lean in all the way, and then go back on the far right side, going the other way. I gotta feel those brakes one more time because that actually caught me off guard. Just going to ease into it. Whew, those are touchy, man. Not a bad thing though, definitely not complaining about that. I'm gonna bump this up to high mode, take it for a spin. More like it. Feels pretty good for now. The deck shape is definitely different. This is absolutely a cruiser board more than anything else. Turning doesn't feel too bad. My tracking app is on, so I'm gonna take this thing around town and come back to you guys with my first thoughts. Hey, what up, man? What's up, man?
I haven't even gone a mile yet.
I was just stopped at that light. Everything was fine. I pushed off and it's not doing anything. Controller's off, board is off, board on, controller on. All right, it's got power again. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. Here's the long, smooth stretch where I will typically get my top speed. Full lock right now, and as you can imagine, it's pretty underwhelming. If I had to guess, I'd say I'm doing like 16 and a half, maybe. Hey, look, there's a Ferrari. I guess we'll find out right after this brick test. I already have some opinions on this board, and I can imagine that the brick and hill will probably not do this thing any good. All right, here for my first check-in on the board. Let's first check the app. Trying to film. I've gone a distance of 3.57 miles, total time of 25 minutes, and a max speed of 17.3. So that's actually a little bit faster than I thought. Not too shabby on the top speed, only about 1 mile per hour off, and for someone my weight, I think that's pretty good. Before we get into that though, let's talk about this controller. This thing is super different than any other controller that I've tested so far, and I actually like it. The scroll wheel on this is very similar to the wheel that you find on the angle or the outside of the boosted board or the WowGo. It's really easy to control, it just feels natural in my hand, and I think they did a good job with this. There are a couple of other features on here which I haven't even really looked at yet, so let me turn the board on. It has a tiny LCD screen which is super hard to read. I highly doubt that you guys are going to be able to see this. It's got a board battery, a controller battery, miles per hour, I think an odometer, and then the FD, that's for forward and reverse, so should be back and forward now. I didn't mention the LCD earlier because, to be honest, it's impossible to see, especially in sunlight like this. It's kind of reflective, so I could do without that, but I guess it's nice that it's there. It also has an LED button down here, so if I click that, there's a little flashlight on the front of the controller. Kind of cool, but at the same time also pretty useless. Even if it's pitch black out, this really isn't doing much. It's probably like 5 lumens. It would be cool to have a controller like this with like 150 lumens out the front. That would give you at least a little bit of something to hold out in front of you and use as like a headlight while you're riding at night. So they might have missed the mark on that one, but again, it's kind of a cool design and it works well, so I'm all right with it. Wait, let me correct that. The controller works well, it feels good in the hand, the controls are nice, acceleration is smooth, braking is very strong. However, the board stopped running there, you guys saw that, and I believe it was a connection issue with the controller to the board. I haven't really ran into that very often on any of the other boards that I tested, however, I'm pretty sure that's what caused that. It might have had something to do with me going through an intersection. There's obviously sensors and different radar things all over the place, so I think there was a little bit of interference there. Hopefully it doesn't happen again, but I believe that is probably on the controller side as well. Now let's move on to the board. All right, the board, where do I start with this thing? I guess the deck. The deck seems pretty nice. Again, it's like a cruiser type of board. It's a little bit weird putting your feet on it when you're used to normal width skateboards, but the design of it is really cool. It's thin, it looks like a regular old skateboard. It doesn't flex like one, it's definitely very stiff compared to what a normal board like this would feel like. The trucks feel okay too. It's not gonna make any really super drastic sharp carves, but it's relaxed and mellow and I can navigate my way in and out of people without a problem. Now down to the motors, which I might have a little bit of an issue with. First of all, 17.5 miles per hour. By my standards, like I said, I have a threshold at about 20. This board is not gonna cut it for me. I typically ride in traffic and use it as a main means of transportation, so 17 miles an hour is just a little bit too slow for me. For cruising around town, maybe going to the beach, something like that, it would be fine for that, but I would like 20 miles an hour out of a board. The motors are also not the strongest. Ooh, they're kind of warm right now too, actually. That hill test, while it might not be the steepest hill ever, that definitely gave this thing a run for its money. It made it up the hill fine with a relatively full charge. However, I'm not sure how these things would do once the charge gets a little bit dwindled. There's also this kind of weird gap in between the truck and the hub motor itself. There's a little gap right here on each side. I'm not sure why they didn't put it all the way up against the truck. They would spin fine if it was a little bit closer and had better tolerances, but it is what it is. These wheels up front are nothing great, pretty much the same on all Chinese boards, and then the urethane, whatever you want to call it, that goes around the hub motors really doesn't make for the best ride. The deck is stiff and hub motors are inherently stiff, so it definitely shook the hell out of my legs, not only on the bricks, but I noticed it doing this other thing too. Now let me know if you guys can hear and see this. Maybe from the side you can see it a little bit better. These wheels are shaking. Not super violently, but it seems like they're almost off-centered on the axles. I've heard some people say about other boards that they've had this problem, and it's definitely with these back wheels. The front are fine, just normal trucks and wheels, bearings and all, but there's definitely a bit of vibration that I get out of these. After a while with the stiff deck, I could see that getting very annoying and uncomfortable. Basically, I'm just hoping for the rest of this test that these wheels don't pop off and send me flying with this camera. So that's basically it for the first check-in. I'm gonna ride this thing a little bit more, supposedly about 10 miles, and I'll come back with my final thoughts. Alright guys, back with my final impression of the Teamgee. Let's start off with the app. I rode this board 8.26 miles, total time of 53 minutes and a max speed of 17.3, so max speed never changed. I rode this thing all the way until the battery was completely dead. It was at 4 beeps, and as I was rolling in my parking lot, it completely died, so that's about all the range that I can get out of this thing. I was riding full throttle pretty much the entire time, so it's not terrible, but at the same time, it's not 10 miles. I'm okay with the top speed in terms of how they advertise it. However, this board is just obviously not for me. Speaking of that, let's actually talk about what this board is designed for. First and foremost, this is just a cruiser longboard, as most pintail boards like this are. It's not designed to go fast or make really sharp turns or anything like that. It's just to kind of go out on some nice smooth pavement and just cruise. That being said, I can kind of sum up this board in one statement. I think the board and controller both have really cool designs. However, they were just kind of executed poorly. Starting with the controller, I really like the soft touch feel, the scroll wheel and everything. High and low mode, keeping it really simple. But then they threw in things like the LED up front, which is basically useless, and that LCD screen there, you guys can probably barely make that out. I understand why they put it in there, it's extra functionality and all. However, if it wasn't executed to its max potential, it's kind of pointless in my eyes. And then the board, super slick design. Again, it's like really impressive to see that this thing is electric because of how thin it actually is. Everything from the nose back seems like it's constructed very well until you get back to these motors. The way the hub spin was giving me that vibration and it didn't go away. Every once in a while when I would get on really smooth pavement, if I was carving back and forth, it would kind of subside for a little bit, but then it would just come right back, and after a while it did get kind of annoying. Because of the design too, the deck is really stiff, the hub motors are really stiff, so any kind of crack, bumps, bricks, it just really wasn't that comfortable. The design on both of these are really slick. I like the thought that went into it. It was just executed poorly. Now, can I recommend this board for a little over $500? No chance. I can't recommend anyone picking this up for that price. In my eyes, a board like this should cost more around like the Meepo range, maybe even a little bit under that, so around $350 to $400. I think if the price was $400, Amazon Prime shipped to your door, then yeah, it's probably justified. However, with the current price tag at the time of filming this video, I just can't recommend this thing. Maybe in the future the price on these things will come down because I believe they are coming out with another board on a Kickstarter campaign. I've also given my kind of brutally honest opinion on pricing on some other boards in the past, and they have actually changed since I released those videos. So Teamgee, if you're listening, I think it might be a little bit better if you lowered the price just a little bit. If you guys want to check these boards out, everything that they offer, I will leave a link to their website in the description down below, as well as the link to Amazon where you can pick this thing up and have it basically overnighted to your door for free. If you have any questions on the board, I will try to answer them as best as I can, and I have had a ton of people asking me to compare all of these boards. You want to know how this board compares to that board, compares to that board, to the other board, and price, and top speed, and range, and just all of that. This is the last electric skateboard that I have as of right now, so maybe in the next week or two, if I don't have anything else to review, I will go back through and kind of give an update on everything that I have already shown on this channel. Am I forgetting anything? I think that's about it. So if you guys are new to the channel, consider clicking subscribe. I make new videos every week, and that's gonna be all for today. So as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you in the next one.